minute, and then I'm going to turn it over to our counselors. But starting to enter that important stage of your son or daughter's life when you start thinking about what happens after New Prague High School. And our counselors will give you some information to start at least start thinking about that process, whether it's 2-year, 4-year, whatever avenue they want to think about. What I just want to share is a little bit of what they can do while they're here. At New Prague, we have a number of concurrent enrollment courses that they can take, which are basically college level courses, and a lot of those, or a majority of them, start as juniors and seniors, so they really are still kind of working towards that. But I would encourage you, as they start looking at the registration in December, January, and start thinking about their junior and senior courses, starting to think about how they might develop a track of getting some college credits here. And we do have a number of options here, and we are exploring other options to add to that. And so just something else to look at. I know one of the things that they'll talk about tonight is cost of college, and it isn't getting any cheaper, but also avenues of paying for it. But that is one way of looking at it, in the fact that students can be taking college courses here at New Prague High School, earning high school credit and also earning college credit with that. And we will, as I said, we will continue to look at avenues for increasing those courses. So something for your sons, daughters to look at as they get ready for registration. So with that, I will turn it over to our counselors and let them share their information. So have a good evening, and thank you again for coming.
Hi, I'm Angie Erickson, one of the counselors here tonight, and we'll be getting some introductions to the rest of our staff in just a few moments. I do want to thank you very much for coming this evening. We know how busy your schedules are, and we appreciate you taking some time. So we hope to make this worth your while this evening. We are videotaping tonight's presentation, and so if you talk to friends or neighbors or other parents of sophomores who weren't able to come tonight, please feel free to mention that we're going to be posting it on our website in its entirety so others can view that. We think that coming tonight is really a great first step in sort of a kind of a murky, vague process of planning for the future. And with changes in the economy and changes in technology and just the sheer pace of change itself, all of that can seem to be a little bit daunting, and it could be easy to get overwhelmed and kind of worried about the future. So tonight we're hoping to share with you lots of different tidbits of information, lots of resources, some timelines, and sort of college education, career search tips. And we're hoping by doing all that we can provide some reassurance for you so that you know that you're on the right track in guiding your child. And also we hope to provide some clarification to some of the planning. And just one note, when we talk about college, if we ever say the word college, we really do mean post-high school education, and that does include any type of college. So that could be a community college, technical college program, and those could include degrees, 2-year degrees, or shorter programs that are diplomas or certificates. Those are oftentimes less than a 1-year, and by certainly less than a 2-year program at the community and technical colleges. And these, we also include in that the 4-year schools. They could be public or private. State universities, University of Minnesota. So when we say college, we mean everything. And so you'll hear us do that tonight. Another thing that sort of is important is, as we talk about all the different steps and timelines to kind of follow, we're hoping that you and your child, your sophomore student, understand that it's a very exploratory time. It's not a time to need to feel pressure or to need to feel have to feel that you have to make final decisions or conclusive terminal decisions. There's a lot of exploration, and you know this better than anyone as parents of sophomores. There are a lot of ideas that are going to be kind of tossed around the dinner table. And I think that goes with the territory, and that's completely normal. A lot of times students will sit down with us and they'll say, I don't have any idea what I'm doing. And then they'll proceed to say what they've thought about. And so many times I've heard myself say to them, you really do have a good idea what you're doing. But there's this sort of continual uncertainty that comes with it. I think that's the nature of it. And so if you can be reassuring to your child, and maybe you will need some reassurance yourself, that there aren't a lot of black and white steps in the process. And so if it feels sort of ongoing and inconclusive for a while, why, that's just fine. And that's the nature of it. Now, if it gets to be April of the senior year, you better come in and see us. Because we want, if you get to that point and the student doesn't know what their next step is, why, then they're going to be feeling a great amount of pressure. And we certainly do have seniors in that situation. But what we're trying to do with all this exploration is help each student prepare for their best next step, whatever that next step is. And we'll talk about that a little bit more tonight when we get into the timelines. But the point is, you don't have to get ahead of yourself. Sophomores are not seniors. They do not have to know where they're applying or what their career might be. So it's really important to sort of accept and embrace that open-endedness of it. So enough about that. I'm going to turn it over to Katie Lascalzo, and she's going to keep us going.
Hi everybody, I'm Katie Lascalzo, and I'm the counselor for students with last names H-E through O. How many of you guys are up in this crowd? Any H-E through O kids? Yay! Okay, and how many of you guys have last names A through H-A? Bunch of you guys. And then finally P through Z. Okay, so it's about a third of each. So Ms. Bartuszek's gonna do a little clicking for me. So if you have last name A through H-A, your counselor is Mr. Bartuszek. Hopefully you guys have met him. I am H-E through O, and Ms. Erickson is P through Z. We also have somebody new with us this year, Becky Valek. She's our career counselor. I think I saw her here in the crowd. There she is in the back there. So our college and career counselor, so she's in the Upper Media Center, and she helps a lot of seniors, for the most part, with college applications and the career search and all kinds of things like military, everything. So a lot of kids go up there and visit with her. You guys are welcome to go up and meet her as well. Our school social worker is Andy Dimmick. He works with a lot of the special ed kids and some ALC kids. And our guidance office secretary is Cheryl Turek. I don't think Cheryl's in here right now, but you can click Mr. B. So just a little bit about what we do in the guidance office. We address 3 main needs of students. The first is obviously academic. So how many of you guys have been in to switch your schedule with us, switch classes and things like that? A few of you guys have been in to change your classes around. So we do that a lot, especially at the beginning of the year and the beginning of a semester. We also have a tutoring program, the STARS tutoring program. If any of you are interested in, if you're having some trouble in a class or you want to help kids with their classes, you can be a tutor or be tutored. You can sign up with us there. We go into classrooms and talk about testing like the PLAN and the ACT. And of course applying to college for the seniors in the fall and also spring of senior year. The second area for counselors is career, and I'll let Miss Erickson and Mr. Bartuszek talk more about that, the career preparation area. And then personal social issues, so individual counseling for, emotional stuff. If you're feeling overwhelmed in your classes, you have any signs of anxiety or depression, things like that. Whether you want to come in just once or weekly, we're always there for you. We have some support groups as well that we invite kids to join. We do a lot of conflict resolution with friendships and relationships, that kind of thing. We kind of do it all. So if you parents ever need resources like community resources for mental health or anything like that, feel free to give us a call. Also check our website because we have a lot of resources listed on there. This is in your little pink packet here. You'll see this credit inventory. So hopefully you guys have seen this before. This is just going to tell you what classes you need to take throughout high school. And most of you have gotten the 9th grade requirements done, and you're working on your 10th grade requirements. It might seem like you don't have a lot of room for extra fun classes that you're interested in right now, but junior and senior year you'll have definitely some more time and room for those classes. You just have a lot of requirements in 9th and 10th grade that you just got to get over with. So your class is required to earn 48 credits to graduate. So you have a little bit of room to take some study halls if you need to. And of course, if you fail a class, you have a little room to fail a class or two, but we don't recommend that. But if you do fail a class, there are ways to make it up through summer school and the extended day after school program. And with that, I will turn it over to Ms. Erickson again to talk about career planning.
Okay, if you want to take your pink packet and turn to the page that has the little circle on the very top. These are just some general thoughts about career planning and also how parents can help their child with the career planning. So on that circle map, there's a reason the arrows are sort of continual, and that has to do with that sort of continual process that I mentioned just a little bit ago. And we do kind of point out what each of those steps is, and you can do them. You can crisscross the circle. You can do those in any order and continually. So career exploration is basically, if you wanted to break it down, it's two things: know yourself, know your options, look for a good fit. That's all it is. So anytime you're getting to know yourself better, strengths, weaknesses, things that you like, things that you don't like, I like to encourage students to find their passion, what they really get excited about doing. Anytime you're getting to know yourself better, you're doing career exploration. Also, anytime you're getting to know your options better, you're doing future planning, you're doing career exploration. And those options, of course, include, 18,000 plus, different occupations, which is overwhelming. So often when we deal with those occupations, we'll use career clusters. And we can break a lot of things down into career cluster areas. There's a couple different cluster methods on some of the interest inventories that we use. So that really helps simplify some of that process. And also, along with getting to know your options or learning about your options, in addition to the careers, what sort of training do I need for that particular career? And then where can I find training for that? And how can I finance my training or education for that? And then you're looking for a good fit between those two things. You can see on here the little circle map has know myself, research my options, evaluate my options, set goals, and that's kind of continual, I think, that goal setting and making plans. You can kind of tell all of that sort of just keeps circling around. And so that's what we're talking about when we're talking about planning for the future. It's really those steps. And then the whole bottom part of that page, I won't read it all out loud, I don't think, but it is suggestions for students and for parents and guardians about how to help your child. So you can kind of read the bold statements there. I do like that first one, be persistent but not pushy. And I hope you can kind of tell by what I'm saying that it isn't something that you have to force or that you have to panic about or feel like, oh, why doesn't my child have an answer? That's pretty important. So it says constantly questioning your teen about career plans might make your teen think negatively about the whole process. Instead, gently ask about likes and dislikes. It's just like anything else as you're parenting. You kind of have to come in the back door to help your child move forward with some things. Realize that the second bold print is that realize that not every career starts with a 4-year degree. The video that we're going to show you next really helps emphasize that point, and we really feel like it does a great job of showing the different types of options out there. Come up with plan B. That's always a good idea. Be patient and be ready. You know that as parents there are going to be opportune moments and those teachable moments that you just crave and look for, and then kind of enjoy as times when your child is maybe more open and more inquisitive and interested in getting some feedback from you. Understanding that career exploration is not a one-time decision. Helping your teen to test drive different careers. You may hear your child talk about one particular occupation, for a day or a week or an hour. And I always suggest to parents, support that idea. Whatever it is, support that idea. That's helping your child believe in themselves. You don't have to be Pollyannish about it, but you can be realistic and ask questions and talk about it. But that your child will know if you're not all in and fully supportive, and that's how they're developing their confidence. Is if sort of the most important people in the world believe in them, then they'll start to, I think, believe in themselves. And then it says encourage your teen to learn new skills. And then at the very bottom it says a large bank account is not the only measure of success. It says success can be defined by a feeling of purpose, strong ties to family and friends, financial independence. We talk about that a lot, independence versus being wealthy. They're two very different things. Social standing, other ways. So that gets into what a person values, what's important to them. Those are really important discussions to have at home. So if we flip that page over, those were just some general ideas and thoughts. If we flip that over to the sophomore year, this gets at the timeline. And you guys, this is what I really want you to kind of, my hope is that it encourages you. I'm hearing more and more often parents talk about feeling behind. We're behind already. I know other people have done, X, Y, and Z. My friends have told me, other parents have told me. And we're hearing that more and more. And I think most of the time with the parents that I'm talking to who are saying that, they're not behind at all. And so what we want to try to do tonight is give you these facts, give you this information so that you don't sort of participate in that rat race, so that you step off the hamster wheel and realize, we've got some good information here. We're not behind. We're fine. And that, hopefully that'll give you some confidence. On our timeline for sophomore year, you see a couple of very broad areas, fall, winter, and spring. And we did that on purpose because, along with the whole thing, it's kind of general in nature. We start out in the first box, and it says similar to the 8th grade Explore test, all sophomores are going to take the plan assessment in November. Do we have a date on that, Mike? I think it's November 18th. Or Becky, do you remember? November 18th. That's going to be the day that all sophomores take the plan assessment. It's basically the pre-ACT. So it's very similar format to the ACT. Mike is going to talk about that, I guess, in a little bit here. So that is one of the big things that's going to happen for sophomores. There is a career assessment inventory, interest inventory on that, and Mike is also going to talk about that in a little bit. So that'll take place this fall. It also says that if you wanted to, you could log into your Naviance account that we helped you set up last year, and you took a little career profiler. And that generated a list of some occupations that you could consider and explore and learn about. You certainly can do that if you'd like to. You can look into that. Talking about your future goals with people who care about you is important. And then practicing good study habits in your classes. And that work ethic and persistence, those are good predictors of future career success. Even more than grades, I believe. I can't remember what I was told or how that went, but I'm pretty sure it was the factor of being persistent and persevering was a critical life skill. And then in the winter, we share the plan results with all the students. They get to see some academic feedback, and then they get to see their career interest areas. There's an interactive web-based system that we might have a chance to show you here tonight. That'll be on our website that students will be able to use. So that's kind of their main interest inventory for this year. And then we'll do that interpretation of the test in conjunction with registration activities for next year's classes. And that's when the student will have a curriculum guide, all the courses, the credit inventory that Katie showed us a little bit ago. We'll go through that and then help students come up with their best next step, which is their junior year classes. And we do like to encourage people to make appointments with us to do that. And then in the spring, just says keep up your great study habits. If you're struggling, talk to a teacher or counselor. And then it says if you are not sure which colleges or careers interest you right now, don't worry. Your junior year will be full of opportunities to plan for your future. So that is kind of the timeline, and you can tell there's not a whole lot of things you have to do. Participating in school, any of the activities that you have, those are kind of the main things to do. So nobody's behind. What I want to do very quickly now is turn to, there were two white handouts. One is stapled, and then one says tidbits on the top. I'd like you to take the page that says tidbits. It's a two-sided. And I just want to point out a couple of the main things. The very first bullet, we'd like to ask you to sign up sign up to follow us on Twitter. We are trying to start to use that more and sending out some little messages. We also want to get going on some email blasts to parents and students, so we'll be trying to share a lot of information. Those are short kind of information bits and pieces. The second main way that we share information is our guidance office website. And I put this on here because we really need you to know that it's under construction right now. We have a brand new website, and our updates are going to continue for the next few weeks. So it's not in its finished stage at all at this point, but in a few weeks it will be. And then we do have continual announcements and resources that'll show up on there throughout the year. Also, point 3, I'd like to really encourage students. You're going to start to encounter some more academic struggles perhaps, and it's really important to reinforce that that is not a bad thing at all. In fact, it can really be a blessing in disguise. It says that post-secondary institutions are noting that many students have not anticipated the amount of reading and research required in college settings. So developing those strong study skills while you're in high school is really important. And when a class is challenging, that's when you have to develop those study skills. So that's a really important concept, I think, for students to think about. Some of the other tips on there are a little more applicable to the older students. We have this handout for our juniors tonight as well. But down towards the bottom, it says sophomores, use your ACT plan results to identify careers in line with your interests. And then you can link to the interactive career exploration site that we'll have on our website to help do that. And then finally, just a little word of encouragement. We've all heard about private colleges and the skyrocketing costs, but most people do not know the amount of financial aid that private colleges can share with students. And it can certainly happen that a student could afford the College of St. Benedict and they couldn't afford the University of Minnesota. So it's really important to try to not rule those out until you have actually seen a financial aid package. And we showed a little chart down there at the bottom just to give you an example. And this was from a few years ago, but it's the most recent information that we had. And it is the average scholarship, which doesn't have to be repaid, For a nonprofit four-year college, like a St. Thomas or St. John's or Gustavus, the average scholarship is $15,000. And it says there that 93% of the students receive that average scholarship. So you can tell as you compare that, that starts to come close to equalizing some costs that maybe at first glance appear to be completely out of line with each other. So we do want to try to share that information with you. The back of that page is sort of just reiterating, and we're going to go over the bottom part of that with our juniors tonight. Again, it's those general circular steps. And then for tonight, we won't go through the factors in the admissions decision, other than to look at the chart on the second page. And that bottom chart we thought would be helpful for you to see. It says, this is how colleges rate various factors in the college admissions decision. And once you get the hang of the chart, it makes a lot of sense. The very top one, grades in college preparatory courses are of considerable importance to 75% of the colleges. And then of moderate importance to the next 15%. Next, the strength of the curriculum. How rigorous are the courses? That's important to 61% plus 25%. Next are the admission test scores like the ACT. But if you'll notice, only 54%, about half of them, have that of considerable importance. I want to emphasize that because we don't want, and I'm hearing this a lot more as well, students getting really over anxious about their test scores and feeling like that's the only factor that will help their future or make their future bright. So we really want to emphasize that. Look at all the factors that are considered and the various strength that the colleges attribute to those factors. I think I better turn it over for our video at this moment. And then Mike will come up and conclude after the video.
Close your eyes. Imagine yourself in your early 20s, in charge of your own future. What does your life look like? Let your imagination fly, it won't hurt. What's your fantasy career? Or maybe you just have a dream life in mind. What would you have to do to make your dreams come true? It's never too early to plan what you want out of life. You need 3 things: more knowledge, experience, and skills. No sweat. Well, okay, maybe a little sweat. Wait a minute, you're thinking, what if I don't even know what I want to be? Easy, the answer to that is what you like to do plus what you're good at equals possible career. There's no magic to being successful in life, but you need a plan. The more education you have, the more money you can make. Here's where the rubber meets the road. Listen to this. High school graduates make more money than those who drop out of high school. College graduates make more money than high school graduates. There are lots of jobs that don't require a college education, but a college education is the difference between getting what you want and just getting by. Here are some more facts for you to chew on. A college degree gives you more job opportunities, and most of those jobs will offer better pay. Plus, you're less likely to be unemployed or stuck in a dead-end job. So, are you thinking yet? You should be. What do you want to be?
I want to be a cop.
I want to be a singer.
I want to be a politician.
I want to be a game designer.
I want to be an actor.
I want to be the first Mexican-American president of the United States.
Okay, how about a virtual field trip? There are 3 major types of colleges. Our first stop is technical and career colleges. At this type of school, people prepare for specific kinds of jobs. If you love working with your hands, then this might be the place for you.
My name is Jorge Ivan Colon Acevedo. I attend Dunwoody College of Technology, and I'm in the electrical construction and maintenance program.
As far as you pulling your home run in, George, that you want to make sure you label them as you pull them in.
Back in high school, I wasn't sure what I wanted to pursue, and I know that the sciences and so forth were a strength of mine, but I knew that I would eventually get tired of doing that, whereas a technical career was always going to provide a challenge for me, and that's why I kind of decided to go through that.
My name is Shantia Matthews. I'm a student here at Anoka Technical College in the Surgical Technology program. I was born and raised here in St. Paul, Minnesota, and I'm actually the first one to graduate from high school and go to a college program, so I'm very proud about that. The reason why I chose the Surgical Technology program is because I always had a passion to be in the medical field. I'm going to graduate with a certificate in surgical technology, and what that means is I will be the one responsible for handling all the instruments at the surgical site. I'm going to be the one that assists, the one that's just right there giving the doctor whatever they need to make possible what they do. They can't do their job without me.
What other kinds of jobs are there, you might be asking? How about a list? You practice the skills you need for the job you want. Then the college helps you find a job when you graduate. About 95% of students in technical programs get a job in their field right after they graduate. How cool is that?
Statistically, graduates from technical colleges are going right into jobs. Last semester, we had 9 out of 15 students that already had been placed. They're already guaranteed a job.
Depending on the job you want, your training can take between 2 months to 2 years. Some offer evening or weekend classes.
One of the things I like the most about college is you have that sense of freedom, and you can set up your own schedule to however you like it.
Different jobs require different training. For example, a nursing assistant trains for 2 months and receives a certificate. A nurse or an automotive technician has to train longer. They earn a diploma. Others take a variety of classes to earn an associate degree.
Okay, I have a floor sitting above my basement, and I'm going to have to decide where my bearing components are going to be. I've got a 28-foot wide house. Where am I going to be supporting the I-joists?
Some students enroll in a technical college and take courses to get a specific job in as little as 2 months. Other students enroll in a longer 2-year program. Say you want to become a radiologic technician. That's a fancy name for someone who works in a clinic or hospital, taking pictures of bones and other body parts, looking for breaks and sometimes cancer. Students take career training courses, plus general education courses, like English, science, and sociology.
What I didn't know, I guess, about becoming an electrician is how applicable it is to so many different fields. There's automated systems and robotics. There are electronics, motor controls. Honestly, just making the contacts here and getting to know the people here and talking has definitely opened my eyes to the greater possibility of what different options I have.
It doesn't stop here. I have more aspirations. After I finish this, I plan on working for 2 years just to gain knowledge of my field. And I'm actually going to return to school to become a physician's assistant. So my dream is to pursue and go on and do more.
Next stop, community college. Here, you can take more general education courses. If you need help brushing up on reading, writing, or math skills, this is the place to do it. You can enter a program and learn skills for the career you want. Or you can enter a longer program to complete a 2-year associate degree. Community colleges are just what they say they are. Public colleges for the community.
Hi, I'm Rose, and this is my 4th semester here at Inver Hills, and I'm getting my AA, which is a transfer degree here, and then I'm going to transfer to a 4-year college and get a degree in sociology. My big dream job is to be a U.S. ambassador to a French-speaking country. Coming to community college was a really good fit for me because I came from a small high school and big 4-year schools kind of scared me. Also, I wasn't sure how well I would do at a 4-year school.
In community college, you can earn certificates, diplomas, and associate degrees. It usually takes 1 to 2 years to complete your studies. Evening and weekend classes may be available. There's more than one way to get where you want to go. Some nurses and police officers, for example, have a 2-year degree, while others have a 4-year degree.
We want the lower leg parallel with the bed.
If you decide later that you want to get a 4-year degree, you may be able to transfer some or all of your 2-year college credits. You complete your general education at a 2-year college and then transfer to a 4-year college to take courses in your chosen field. Colleges call this the Minnesota Transfer Curriculum.
Give Curtis a round of applause.
And as the gas is sublimating, you'll notice where it's going downward. What would that tell you about that gas? That it's denser than air.
Our biggest degree that we give out is an AA degree, which is an associate in arts, and it's like you have 2 years of college done at that school.
Some community colleges also offer on-campus housing and extracurricular activities like sports and theater. Now that's hot.
I live pretty close to this community college, and that's a big reason that I chose this specific community college. But community colleges in general just seem like a better fit for me because the smaller class sizes, I was used to that.
Write this down, make the square on a piece of paper. Make your big...
I joined the French Club and Phi Theta Kappa, which is an honor society, and the Student Senate. I don't know, I feel like I belong here now.
Some community college programs also focus on skills that lead to specific careers, just like technical or career colleges.
We have a lot of different programs like business or paralegal, but there are a lot of certificates you can get and then just go right on to a job.
What other programs do community colleges offer, you ask? Are you starting to get some new ideas? It's good to think ahead.
It's very important to do well in high school. Not just to get good grades, but so you learn how to learn. Because it's a different kind of learning than high school. You teach yourself more.
Are you still with us? Come on, let's check out 4-year schools. Maybe you dream of teaching an 8th grade math class. Don't laugh. It could happen. You could go directly to a 4-year school, or you might take 2 years of general courses at a community college and then transfer to a 4-year college for the final 2 years. 4-year colleges and universities are a bit different. You're required to get general knowledge in the arts, sciences, and humanities, but you don't need to have a specific career in mind. The choices are endless.
My name is Alessandra Williams. I go to McAllister College in St. Paul, Minnesota. I am a senior, and I'm an American Studies major and a dance minor.
That's what you have to live in all of those times.
College is about exploring yourself.
And this they do too, but it's more...
So my first 2 years, I took the core general classes in sciences, social sciences, natural sciences, etc. And through that, discovering what it is that you truly want to do. So getting exposed to everything.
My name is Kong Shang, and my major is psychology, and I'm a third-year student at the University of Minnesota. Yeah, it's a pleasure. How are you? Good. One fun thing about college is that you are here to explore about yourself and, what major you want to go into. And a lot of people do not know what they want to do, and which is fine, which is totally, absolutely fine. Because you are in the process of learning about yourself, what you want to do, and also your undergraduate degree is not going to determine your permanent occupation.
A 4-year degree gives you even more career choices. Four-year colleges tend to have smaller campuses and classes. Universities offer a wider variety of courses and programs.
I wanted to go to a university that is diverse, and I found that the University of Minnesota is one of them, and that it was close to home. I feel more comfortable going to a university, studying with people who are from different backgrounds. I study abroad in South America. I went there for 4 months, which is a semester in the fall of 2005, and I learned a lot about myself.
Most four-year schools have on-campus housing. Many first-year students live in dorms.
Good passing now. It's going to take a bit of time.
Also, four-year colleges and universities offer extracurricular activities like sports, student councils, music groups, newspaper, or acting in plays. Not to mention dances and special events going on all the time.
Later on in the first semester of my freshman year, I was a director of education and diversity for the residential hall that I lived in, and I was also the co-chair of the General College Student Board.
I started the hip-hop dance team on the McAllister campus at the very end of my first year. That has just been so great for me at McAllister to have that team, and it's just great. I love it.
But wait, there's more. You don't have to stop at a four-year degree. The sky's the limit. You might go on to a graduate school or earn a professional degree like doctors and lawyers do.
Education is just so amazing, and that's something I want to continue for myself, going to graduate school, law school.
College is not easy. You have to do some work, but also know that it's not just about, studying. You're also there to have fun, explore about yourself,
I know so many kids here who didn't think that they were going to be able to come for all different kinds of reasons, financial, or they thought it'd be too much time. They thought they should go to work to help support themselves and their family, and all different kinds of barriers, but they've all overcome them.
I think in order to be successful and get through college, you have to have a certain level of determination and ambition. It challenges you to step up to the plate and pull your own weight.
A college education is very important to me because I know that I can't succeed without one. In the job market today, you hear all the time that a high school diploma just isn't going to cut it. You need that higher learning because there's always somebody out there that's willing to do more than the next person, so it's really your responsibility to get the learning that you need.
Remember this, in the end, you need to choose a college that is just right for you. How do I do that, you ask? Simple, just ask yourself a few questions.
Does this school offer the training that I need for the career that interests me?
Does it matter how close or far away college is from home?
Does it matter if the campus has a lot of students or not?
Does it matter if the college is in a city, a suburb, or a small town?
How much will school cost?
Wait a minute, you're thinking college isn't free. No, but there is this thing called financial aid that may be available to help you pay for your college education. So don't rule out a school just based on the cost. To learn more about your college options and how to prepare and pay for college, be sure to visit www.getreadyforcollege.org. Okay, your move. It's your life.
All right, I think the best line in that video was the student who said, college, you have to do some work. Thought that was funny. I think some of the students have the same opinion about high school. It's not easy, you have to do some work, even if you don't like it. Moving on to the next thing here, we're going to just look at what's the high school all about as far as, where do people go or how many people go. And as the stat reads up there, just from last year, what percent of students ended up going to 2 or 4 year college? Anybody have a guess? You shout it out. It's between 0 and 100. Gosh, that's pretty good. Nice. So yeah, 93% of the students went somewhere last year. So we're talking to a lot of people. And the next one is, now this is kind of the reverse of that. Because of that, we want to make sure that students are prepared. That's why we have the rigor we do at the high school. You talk to other students coming from different schools that transfer in here from area schools, and they go, gosh, New Prague is hard compared to the school I came from. Well, we want to have it that way because we don't want to be in a percentage down here that's given here. So remedial courses are, you go to college and you're kind of stuck taking these classes that aren't going to count for college credit, but you have to take them in order to take college classes. And the percent there is, anybody want to know? Or there we go, 40%. Awesome, you guys nailed it. So 40% have to take classes that aren't going to be credit in college, but you're stuck taking them in order to take college classes. So that's what we try to prevent by pushing the students here to the limit. And the next slide, a couple more trends. This is kind of interesting. 60% of high school students will work in jobs that aren't they don't exist at this point. And if you read the next one, Richard Riley said that the top 10 jobs in 2010 didn't exist in 2004. Now this is kind of, I don't know if you believe that or not, or I mean it almost seems too weird to believe, but I always joke to my students that back when I was in school, it wasn't too long ago for me, but it was for everybody else, all the students anyways. In 90, when I went to college, the internet wasn't invented, or it was kind of, but that's the dial-up. I had to pay long distance to get internet. So nobody knows that. All the parents might know what that is, but the kids don't. And if you have to ask the kids how to call long distance, most of the kids here have no idea what you're talking about. Dial a 1? What? So anyway, think of how many jobs been created since then. If I went to UMD for computer science back in 1990, you think I'd be in the same job that I was, right now? No. So that has a lot to do with technology. And the next one is the average adult will have 3 or 4 different careers and around 10 different employers. And that's important to know because when students now are thinking, gosh, what do I want to do for my career? The thing you have to remember is that you're going to change. So like Miss Erickson said, you want to prepare for the next step. Don't get ahead of yourself and think, you're not picking a career to be there for 40 years or 30. You're picking a career that you're going to like. That's it. You're going to enjoy it for now. You may stay there. You may have room for advancement. Who knows what is going to happen. You just want to pick something that you're going to feel good about going to and being a part of. And that's something that statement is trying to lessen the burden and not increase it. So getting up to what we kind of were alluding to before, on November 18th, all the sophomores are going to take the pre-ACT. It's called the plan. And when they take that, they're going to take a career interest inventory. And when you take the inventory, you're going to get results. They're going to look like this. It's called the World of Work. And the nice thing is that it kind of divides interest into like, do I like working with data? Do I like working with things? Do I like working with people? It kind of tries to bring things around to what interests the student, because whatever interests the student is probably the direction they're going to go. So you're going to get results that look like that. So around December, make sure you kind of start asking your kids about that. And like I said, does anyone remember this from 8th grade, from the Explore? Few people do. Thanks for raising your hand. And you're going to get a similar thing, like I said, this year. And you're going to get results that are similar as far as Explore. They'll be broken down into 4 categories. And it talks about how you did. Percentiles is how you did compared to other students. So you can look for this. The students will be getting a copy of this in December, and you can ask them about it then. But it talks about strengths, areas of improvement, and things of that nature. And what you can do with that, you can go onto the actstudent.org to kind of have an interactive, and this will be on the results page, so when they get to it, they can kind of take a interactive look at the results. The nice thing is that, people, you want to know what can you do with my interests, what jobs are out there. It's important to know that your interests are so much matched with what you're eventually going to be doing, and just getting a list of careers will give you an idea of like looking at them and reading about them and saying, I want to do this, do I not want to do that? And as I'm looking at that, I don't know if we're going to get to that tonight yet with the hourglass still there. So I might have to move on to the next thing, which is okay. If everybody could take out the last item they got, which was, are we here? No. The last item they got, which is called Career Planning and Educational Choices. If everyone could take that booklet out. I think it's really neat at the front page, right by the table of contents in that book. The thing that's read here, I just think it's kind of neat. It talks about, it says, Dear Student. It says, choosing the right career is very important. It can be confusing. There's hundreds of careers to choose from. But it talks about choosing your career and explain that getting education and training to be successful in that career. And then they're talking about the parents and what is the parents' job. It says most students choosing a career and figuring out how to prepare for that career can be confusing, difficult, and sometimes overwhelming. Your child needs your help in making those decisions. Whether they want to admit it or not, they do need your help. And so this book will help the student kind of plan that. And how they do it is if you look on the table of contents, it says choosing a career. It talks about step 1 is the self-assessment, and then investigate your career choices, and then finding a career match. And in a nutshell, that's basically what looking at a career is. You find out what your interests are, and then you do some type of self-assessment to kind of see where you go from there. And then you kind of identify some of the careers that you might enjoy. And one of the things we tell the freshmen, and we try and reiterate with the sophomores, there's a saying that goes, people surround themselves with similar people eventually, and those similar people are doing the same things. It's like you're gonna hang out with people that are like you, and you're all gonna enjoy doing something that's a part of you. If you don't like working with people, you're probably not going to be a teacher. You're probably, who knows what you're going to be, but it's probably not going to be standing in front of somebody talking. Whereas if you like working with numbers and just enjoy that, you're probably not going to, be a construction worker. So it's a lot about your interests and where you go from there than it is anything else. Is that the last? One of the last things is just talking about the career matches, and talks about the hot careers that are there. On page 9, the last thing is, it is nice to get a job when you get out of school. So you might want to pick some if there's interest you have and one leans towards a career that's going to be up and coming versus another one, you might want to pick something that is out there, like healthcare, so anything in the health field and computers. There's always an opening there for those things. And at your leisure, you can look at other things that are in here. But as of right now, I think the hour is up, and I could go on and on. So if you want, I can stay later, over and over again if you want to step in. Otherwise, I'll let you guys take off. I appreciate you coming in. We have 2 seconds. Oh, Twitter. Sorry, there's a Twitter announcement.
Okay, I need you guys all to wave at my camera here, and I'm going to post this picture on our Twitter page. And I want you guys all to follow us on Twitter, at NPHS_guidance, for lots of announcements, which will come in handy. So, everybody wave.
Awesome. Well, thanks a lot for coming. Appreciate your time, and have a good evening.